Good evening, everyone. I'm Liza S. Abastar. My report is about using public funds wisely and appropriately, specifically the MOOE. So here are the contents of my report, the depth guidelines for liquidation of school MOOE. So number one is what is MOOE. Number two, uses of MOOE. Three, various forms used in liquidation of MOOE. Four, various proof of receipts like traveling expenses, training and seminar, office supplies, electricity, telephone, security expenses and janitorial, R&M school buildings, payment of labor costs, other accounts, fidelity bond expenses, other school supplies or office supplies, and other MOOE, and the things to remember when liquidating MOOE. Isa sa mga public funds ay ang MOOE. Sa pagbabudget ng MOOE, we should follow the law. Hindi pwedeng gastusin ang pera ng gobyerno na hindi nakasaad sa batas. Kung saan allotted ang budget, ay doon dapat gagastusin ito. So ano nga ba ang MOOE o yung tinatawag na maintenance and other operating expenses? So, MOOE is the maintenance and other operating expenses. It is allocated funds for public elementary and secondary schools that can be spent on activities and necessities. Example is the electricity and water bill that support learning programs and help maintain a safe and healthy environment in schools. So, ang MOOE ay isa sa mga controversial sa ating paaralan every month. Tama po ba ako? Ito ay ginagamit o ginagastos natin para sa mga activities at pangangailangan ng ating paaralan, gaya ng electricity, water bill at iba pa. Para ito sa mga quality education ng ating mga learners. So ang MOOE ay dapat may return of investment or ROI para sa learning outcomes. Kung ano ang nasa AIP or sa plan, ay doon dapat gagastusin ang ating MOOE. Ang anumang activities ng schools at pangangailangan ay dapat nasa work and financial plan. So what are the uses of school MOOE? So number one, to fund activities as identified in the approved school improvement plan or the SIP, for implementation in the current year and as specifically determined in the annual implementation plan or AIP of the school. So lahat ng activities na nakalagay sa SIP or AIP, ang paglalagyan o pagkakagastusan ng budget ng MOOE. Sa pagpaplano, dapat daw kasali ang teachers. Alam ng teachers kung magkano at saan gagamitin ang budget sa MOOE. Dapat makonsult muna ang mga persons involved like teachers. Ideally, all of us teachers should be involved in planning and budgeting. Katulad sa school namin, tinatanong kami ng principal namin kung ano ang need namin by grade levels para sa susunod na buwan. So, another uses of school MOOE is number two, to support expenses for school-based training and activities that are selected or designed to address the most critical needs that will improve learning outcomes. So, kasali din dapat sa budget ang school-based training and activities to improve learning outcomes. Pero sa katotohanan, hindi po ito laging nasusunod. Usually ay ang school paper or journalism training ang alam kong nabibigyan ng budget ng MOOE. So another uses of school MOOE is number three, to finance expenses pertaining to graduation rites, moving up or closing ceremonies, and recognition activities. Dito naman, lahat ng gagamitin, gastusin sa graduation, moving up, and recognition, like resource speaker, decorations ng stage, rental ng chairs, pagbili ng medals or ribbons, at kung ano-ano pa, ay dapat kasali sa budget ng MOOE. Number four is to procure school supplies and other consumables for teachers and students deemed necessary in the conduct of classes. Isa sa uses ng MOOE ang pagbili ng mga school supplies gaya ng bond paper, ballpen, ink, tape, at kung ano-ano pa. Ang consumables ay nakalagay sa distribution list at pipirma po ang teachers doon. Nakalagay kung ilan ang kanyang natanggap, ilang rim, ilang piraso, at kung ano-ano pa. In terms of school supplies or consumables, bawal ang hiwa-hiwalay na pictures, bawal ang nakakulage. Kung ano ang nasa resibo ay iyon din dapat ang nakalagay sa pictures. Ang pictures po dapat readable and countable daw. Nakikita at nabibilang kung ilan ang laman ng box at iba pa. Another thing is dapat may timestamp, date and time sa picture na congruent sa resibo. Ganun po kahigpit ngayon sa MOOE. Number 5 is to fund minor repairs of facilities, building and ground maintenance, and the upkeep of the school. Dito po ay minor repairs lang po ang pinapayagan sa MOOE. May timestamp sa picture na binili or date and time na congruent sa resibo. Ang pictures ay dapat before, during, and after. Again, lahat ng binili na nasa pictures ay readable and countable. Number 6 is to pay for wages of full-time janitorial, transportation, mobility, and security services. Dito po, ginagamit din ang MOOE sa pagbayad ng janitor, transportation, or gasoline if may sasakyan ang school. Number 7 is to pay for utilities and communication expenses. Isa po sa uses ng MOOE ay pambayad sa utilities like bill sa kuryente at tubig, PLDT at iba pa. For example, may CP po yung principal or cellphone at naglo-load siya. So kasama din po ito sa budget ng MOOE kasi po, for communication purposes po ito. Number 8 is in no case shall school MOOE be used for the procurement of school furniture such as seats and teacher's table and chairs, and textbook and other instructional materials, even if these expenditures are contained in the SIP. Bawal gamitin ang MOOE bilang pambili ng mga sumusunod: upuan, teacher's table, and chairs, books, at iba pang instructional materials kasi provided ito ng DepEd kapag nagbigay ng classroom. So here are the various forms used in liquidation of MOOE. So meron po tayo diyang 2306 and 2307 na form. Ngayon daw po, ginagamit na ang 2307, dalawang form ang gagamitin kung non-VAT and serviceable, isang 2% and isang 1%. Ito naman po ang mga nangangailangan ng proof of receipts na ginagamit sa iba't ibang expenses ng ating schools. Una po ay ang traveling expenses, training and seminar, office supplies and expenses, electricity, telephone, security expenses and janitorial, repair and maintenance ng school buildings, payment of labor cost na 30% of purchase ng materials. So here are the supporting documents for traveling expenses for local. So meron dapat na approved itinerary of travel, may Appendix A and B, Certificate of Appearance, Authority to Travel approved by the agency head within the district, yung signed ng school head, and then within the division, signed by the district supervisor, outside the division, signed by the school's division superintendent. May reference or memo din po ito. And then, nakalagay po dyan, please attach tickets for the CERES and taxi fare. Narito naman po ang supporting documents for training and seminar expenses. So, magkabukod po in conducting training at saka attending training ng mga supporting documents. Narito naman po ang lahat ng supporting documents for office supplies and expenses na less than 2,000 and above 2,000 pesos. Dito naman po nakasulat ang lahat ng supporting documents for electricity and telephone expenses. For security and janitorial expenses, narito po ang supporting documents, and for payment of labor cost na 30% of purchased materials. Narito naman po ang supporting documents for repair and maintenance ng school buildings for purchases of materials na less than 2,000 pesos and 2,000 pesos and above. And for other accounts naman po, narito po ang mga kailangang mga documents for repair and maintenance ng ICT, internet subscription expenses, and printing and publication expenses. So for other accounts again, supporting documents sa mga binili for less than 2,000 pesos and 2,000 pesos and above. Another is fidelity bond expenses. Ano po ba yung fidelity bond expenses? It is a form of business insurance that offers an employer protection against losses that are caused by its employees' fraudulent or dishonesty action. So, nariyan po ang mga supporting documents. Again, for other office supplies expenses, supporting documents for less than 2,000 pesos and above 2,000 pesos. So here are the other supporting documents for other expenses na pwedeng i-shoulder ng ating MOOE. So sa lahat po ng supporting documents na pinakita ko kanina, ay meron pa rin po itong iba pang mga attachments, katulad ng liquidation report na 3 copies, MOOE payroll for 2 copies, disbursement voucher, cash disbursement register, additional requirements as deemed necessary to support the validity of the claims. Okay, in liquidating MOOE, there are things to remember. Number 1, for thermal receipt, have them photocopied. Number 2, be mindful of the receipt expiration and validity. Number 3, receipt should be written in black or blue pens only. Number 4, assorted groceries or items in the receipt is not accepted. Number 5, no alteration of official receipt. Number 6, the cluster members shall submit their liquidation to their respective cluster heads with 1 original copy for COA and 1 second copy for accounting. Number 7, all liquidations of each cluster must be filed in 1 folder, only according to the sequence of schools in the payroll. Liquidation should be submitted a week prior to the set deadline. Sabi nga nila, bawal daw ang late sa pagsasubmit ng MOOE kasi kasali daw ito sa computation ng ating TBB. So, tama po ba yun? So, that ends my report. Thank you for listening.